This is not a bad little fishy, this one. So we just put in at Roseville this morning. We're at Middle Harbour in Sydney here. Today's pretty special. We got the new 22 Exist. We're going to be giving it a bit of a burn today, see what we can catch. Hopefully targeting a couple of bream today. The water's a little bit dirty, a little bit sceptical, but we might shoot out the front, try and find some cleaner water, throw some slippery dogs, throw some rolling cranks, and some stuff like that, some bait junkies, just see what they bite on, and hopefully we can have a good day out on the water. One. And the little tinky boy, we'll take him. Number one on the board there. About time one ate it properly. Been having all types of mischief this morning. We've probably had about 20 bites. None of the brims want to hook up. So with these little slippery dogs, this is the 60mm I'm using today. I'm imitating like a prawn or a shrimp, skipping around on the surface. So I really like to do like quite an erratic retrieve, zip, 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 pause. And then the brim, 90–95% chance will always hit it on the pause. So you want to pause it, mix the pause time up. So you want to maybe do a quick pause and then a medium pause, a long pause. Just see what the brim like. Generally, if it's clear enough water, you'll see them under there and you'll kind of gauge their mood a bit. So you'll be able to see if they're a bit flighty, see if they want to eat it. If they're interested, they'll stick around, and just keep on changing up the pauses, and that will generally get you the bites. And like I said, the brim will pretty much tell you what they want anyways. Sometimes you can get 3, 4, 5 bites from a brim. Sometimes you'll just get the one and they'll go away. So just mix it up. Try a walk the dog retrieve, like a slow zip, 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 and see if that works. But generally, it's not any type of technique. Just give it a bit of a flick and a wind, and then skid it around a bit, and then sit it there for a while and just see it wants to come and play pretty much. So generally when I'm picking a topwater to throw around, I'm picking something with a little bit of colour. So a lot of the time you'll see obviously the brim come up and eat it, or the fish come up and eat the topwater. But with topwaters, I like to wait 1, 2, 3 seconds to make sure that they have it, because the last thing you want to do is see the fish bite and then strike straight away, because either they won't have it properly or they're kind of not fully there with it. So I always like to leave it a couple of seconds, and then if it doesn't pop back up, that's where the colour comes in. So a bright colour like a yellow, an orange, something like that. So as you can see here, this little slippery dog's got a little orange head on it. So that's really handy, because I can wait the couple of seconds, and if I see the little orange head pop back up, then I know that I'll just keep working it and not strike. Generally you can see your line moving away anyways, but that's a really good little telltale that I like to use. So that's a great example there. We're just working along this bank here. There's a couple of bigger boulders that work out and kind of come off the bank distinctively a lot more than the other terrain. And straight away, I bring it around the front, bang, a big brim comes out. He missed it the first time, and you wouldn't believe it, but he missed it the second time as well. There he is. He's not massive, but when they're coming out a foot of water with boulders and oysters everywhere, they feel like they're nearly 60 centimetres long. It's not too bad. So number 2 for the morning there, just come off a nice little point. He was only in a foot of water, I reckon. And just on a little slippery dog. Quite an aggressive skip, skip, skip pause. Couple of second pause, nothing too long. And he had a couple of goes at that, but when he finally committed, he committed really well. And I thought it was a bigger fish than that, but he catered for himself quite well. So this morning it's a bit overcast today. We just had a light shower come through. There's a nice fish there, come on. Come back again. Oh, there is, oh, and I dropped him. So I didn't see the lure come back up there, and but he didn't end up having it correctly. But yeah, so this morning a little bit of a shower come over, and it's quite overcast today. I personally quite like these conditions because you can fish topwater all day. The fish generally stay up on edges longer, which is really helpful, and that's the way that I like to fish. But also, that can also be a hindrance as well, because sometimes you want the sun because that commits fish to bite, because they have a split-second decision when it comes out of the shade into the sun, whether they eat it or they don't eat it. So a lot of the time on these overcast conditions, the fish will stay up shallower, and it will make them bite topwater, or it will keep them biting topwater a lot longer. But at the same time, it can be a hindrance in making them not commit properly. And I think that could be partly why I've got issues this morning, getting lots of bites. They're committing to coming back a lot, but they're not committing to eating the lure. This is not a bad little fishy, this one. No, no, no. So I'm only running 6 pound on the new Exist here with a 6 pound leader, but you'd be very surprised with how much you can you can put the hurt on them. And these little reels, they're pretty much like little car winches. And he's a little bit fouled up, that's why he went a bit harder. But don't be afraid to really get stuck in and hold the spool, and because it's either you're going to bust it off from going too hard, or he's going to bust you off from getting back. So at least you gave it a crack if you get busted off. So just made a little change up in the Rodney department. So I went from the Infeet EX. It was a 7 foot. It was a LFS, a light fast action. I went to this slightly smaller. This is the Z series of Infeet. This is a 641. Again, it's an LFS, but the noticeable difference is the length. But also, this thing's got a lot of backbone. It's 1 to 4 kilos. Being in this tighter structure, I can really lean on them and have a little bit more backbone to pull them out and turn their heads. But also being a bit shorter, a bit easier to throw up in under stuff. So this is a bit more suited to this style of fishing. So I made the swap, I made the call, and I think it's going to help get a couple more bites. Righto, so we're on the move here. We're still in middle here. We just come up one of these bays now. The tide is kind of just peaked at high, which is good. So that's perfect for edge fishing. So we're just going to go up one of the back of these bays here where I know some shallow rock is. We're still going to just use the slippery dog over it, using the same technique as we did before, but just in a different location. So hopefully these fish are a little bit more committed and want to have a bit of a go. Not a bad little Brimo. Pretty happy with him. He's even starting to get a couple of blue lips there. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, he's there. Oh, there it is. Oh, this is not a bad little Brimo. Little Brimos. Yee. Boys having a go. Truth almighty. I think it's a Brimo. No. Not back in there. Oh, he's fouled a bit. He's a good fish, but he's fouled up a bit. Rightio, we got him away from a bit of structure here now, so I should be able to back him off a bit. I'm going to opt to go the net on this one. From past experiences, poling fish can have troubles. So getting a bit closer to the boat, we can back him off a bit more. So that was a good one. He probably had about 3 goes at that, and then I just saw his big buff head behind it when he finally got it. And here he is. He's not a bad fish, to tell you the truth. He's a bit fouled up, but he's still a decent fish. Look at the head on him. There he is. He's not massive, but I'll take that for number 3. Rightio, that's a nice little Sydney bream there, 800-900 grams-ish, or somewhere in between. He's got nice colours on him, nice blue lips, nice yellow fins, bit of a dint in his head, but no one's perfect. He's a nice fish. So just had a little bit of a whiting inquiry then. We're up the back on a little flat here. I'm going to change up the technique a little bit, see if I can get a couple of whiting in the boat, because I'm an absolute sucker for whiting. If to me they take priority over anything if they're about. So we're going to change up the technique a bit. So with whiting, you want to generally keep it quick, keep it moving. The topwaters, because they're quite an aggressive feeder, believe it or not. A lot of people know them just as Beto kind of catches. But if you keep your lure, your topwater nice and quick, skidding across the surface like a shrimp or a prawn, generally, if there's a whiting around, they'll come up and have a bit of an inspection. You'll hear them, they don't make a massive commotion. It'll be like a bow wave behind it, a bit of slurping action, and you can physically hear them slurping it. And it's even better if you can get a couple of whiting that are really juiced up on the lure. They'll actually fight over it, and you'll see them darting around trying to slurp it. And that's where some little assist hooks off the back of you can either use a popper or a little walk the dog like I got here, but the assist hooks really help, because when they're slurping, they end up getting one of those pinned in them, and they're not really going anywhere, which is really handy. So we'll see if we can get a couple of whiting in the boat here. How about that little green whiting in amongst the brims here today. He's actually not a bad little, come on now. He's actually not a bad little tang, this one. I just worked back over, we're coming up into the back of a bay here, and he heard a bit of slurping going on when I was working it back. So generally with whiting, probably 95% of the time you'll get them on the work when you're actually working the lure quickly, because it's like a shrimp kind of getting away. They come up in, if you can catch them in a wolf pack, they'll fight over it, and if they're into it enough, they'll just keep slurping. If you see that, it's not a brim, it's whiting, and don't stop your lure, because they'll just lose interest and go away. But he's not a bad little tang there. Might even throw in there again and try and get another one. I'm a bit of a sucker for whiting. Woo! Little mixed bag this morning. Got the brims, got the whiting, and got a little Tailor on. So just working down the bank. Thought it's time for a colour change. Little Moebi here's done the damage this morning. But after catching a couple of Tailor, it's always good to check your leader. And I thought, why not? I'll check it and I'll also swap out colours. So, still got a 65mm, sorry, Slippery Dog here, just changed up colours. Still that bright head on it, because as I was saying before, I really like seeing that. And it's a great indicator if the fish has got it or not. So we'll throw her on. And we're just coming up to a point now, so that should, if anything has told us anything this morning, it's that I can't string a sentence together. Oh no, there's a big rock there. Not today, oh, and he's gone. That was a good fish. Always moving here. Yeah, real speedy boy. Real foul, that boy. With that very next cast, we just come up onto a point here. Just swap colour of the lure over and everything. A couple of casts on a nice boulder on the point. Got busted off. Put a new colour on. And then very next cast, this little fella came out and had a crack at it. With that one earlier, sometimes you just can't stop them. They're just like freight trains and you can do anything you want to do, but they'll always win, those ones. Nice little fella. I think that's number 5 maybe for the day. A couple of Tailor, a couple of whiting as well. Not bad. So it's a super exciting day today. We've got the brand new 22 Exist from Tailor. This reel is going to be available early 2022. There's a fish on that. There's heaps of new tech in this one. It's a new design called air drive design. So that incorporates a few different new techs. So a few different upgrades on the rotor, the spool, the bail arm, the main shaft. And that all falls under the air drive design umbrella. They've all got their own updates with weight reduction and whatnot. But this is a super exciting reel and you're going to want to check it out for 2022. Oh, I don't know what that was, but it took me Slippery Dog. There's a birdie there. Hello, Mr. Birdie. So just made the switch there to the 80mm Slippery Dog as well. We just come off that flat, just fishing a bit of this rock wall here. And a very lively little brimmy. He's not too bad actually. He's actually not a bad little brim. Nice colours on him, super silverfish that one. With a bit of blue through him. He's done a good job of building himself there. Big bait, boys, big bait. Rightio, as you can see behind us here, it's a little bit wet. Ended up getting chased off the water by a big old rain cloud. We got absolutely drenched. The boat's just full of water. We're just like drowned rats, but it was a great day, great morning. Caught some really nice fish on the little 65 Infeet Slippery Dog here. Mostly on top water, as I said earlier. They were committing to hitting it, but they weren't committing to really holding it down. Some fish were coming back 6 or 7 times, but it was really fun. Using the new Exist, it was a pleasure to use. It was a really good day. We're going to get off the water before we get any more wet now. She got pretty wet. Yeah, very much so. Up and away, Captain.